You might be wondering why this video. Actually, I've been teaching physics for more than 20 years, I think almost 24 years now. And my students have done well, and I've also taught my own two children. My son did his engineering, so obviously he liked physics, and I like to give myself credit for that. But my daughter, she just didn't like physics, so I really don't know actually what to say. I've seen that by following a systematic approach, students are able to perform well in this subject. Obviously, there is no shortcut to success, and all those who've done well are the ones who've put in that extra effort on their part. We'll talk of both how to study during the year and then during your exams. See, while doing any chapter, many times you come across many mathematical concepts, algebra, geometry, trigonometry, calculus, etc. Just make sure you learn those concepts. Don't proceed without understanding the maths behind any physics that you're doing. See, the general rule is if you attended a class for 1 hour, then you need around 2.5 to 3 hours of self-study. Now we'll take a look at how to study. Okay, now let's look at the first step. Say you attend a class today. Come back home and on the same day, not the next day, on the same day without you opening your book, try and recall whatever you've learned. Just exert your mind a little bit, just try and recall, and then most importantly, write down whatever you can remember. The next step is to read your book. See, even if you don't understand 100% of what you're reading, that's okay. Still keep reading. Read the full chapter. Before your exams, you should have actually read each chapter almost 2 to 3 times. Choose any book that you like, any book that you're able to follow. Even if you use different books for different chapters, that's okay. Now, what do you do while reading the book? Please be active and keep highlighting the important points of the book. You might not read the chapter word by word again. So, highlighting will make sure when you come back to the chapter, the next time you will not miss out the main points. Write down notes or any other important things that you need to remember in the margins. It's okay if your book is not absolutely clean. Use your book. Then the first step is to try some questions. There are some simple descriptive questions. That's fine. You can do them. Apart from that, try some concept-based questions. And when you're doing the concept-based questions, don't simply rush and look at the answers. Be patient. Spend some time understanding and then answering the question. If required, go back and read relevant portions of the text. There's some portions which you've probably not understood correctly. See, because when you check your answers, you'll find that most of the questions that you got wrong are those from some 1 or 2 concepts that you've not understood fully. Read those portions from the book. Maybe, if required, go back to your teacher or discuss these with your friends. Another important part in physics is to learn how to solve numerical problems. First of all, read the question carefully and make it a habit to draw a rough sketch. And on that rough sketch, put down whatever values you can figure out from the question. Think of a formula that will fit in. See, every numerical problem has to have a formula. So, try and think of which formula can fit in. So, even if you don't understand the question fully, see if you can figure out which formula fits in. And then finally, read the summary given at the end of the chapter. See if you have understood all the points mentioned in the summary. Apart from that, you need to repeat. Repetition is important. You can skip the questions that you solved the first time on your own, but repeat the ones that you found difficult and you took help to solve. And yes, most importantly, get ready to study. Fix a certain time of the day when you're going to study. Choose any time that suits you. Switch off your phone. Don't be distracted. You cannot work if you have distractions around you. And most importantly, don't be hungry. If you're hungry, go eat something. Have something close to you that you can munch on while you are studying. Next, we'll talk of how do you prepare for your exams. First and foremost, revise the topics. Remember, you had highlighted some portions and written down some notes in the margins. Go through all of them. Write down the main definitions. Don't read only. Write them down. Write the main definitions, laws, derivations, the important ones. Don't simply read the book. Just make sure you go through the test that you've given earlier. See the questions that you did not attempt correctly. Do the corrections. Otherwise, you will repeat the same mistakes again. You will be surprised. You will think that no, okay, once you've made a mistake, now you know this. But you will be surprised. You will repeat the same mistakes again. Write down all the formulae, and when you write down the formulae, write the meanings of the symbols. For example, suppose it's E is equal to mc square. Just write down what E stands for, M stands for, and C stands for. Solve previous exam questions. See as many question papers as you can get hold of. Go to your library, ask friends, ask your seniors. Try and solve as many questions as you can, because in most exams about 60-70% of the questions are always repeated. And most important, stay calm. Attempt whatever you know, because in any question paper about 75 to 80% of the questions are reasonably easy. First attempt those questions. Don't worry about those 10-15% questions which you found difficult while reading the paper. Don't focus on those questions. Focus on the 75 to 80% of the questions which you know well. Once you've done this, then go to those questions which you could not attempt which you could not solve the first time you read the paper.